Okay, what I'm doing is putting the clamp on the secondary variator or the driven pulley. You have to put this clamp press on there because you have to compress the variator, spread it open in order to try to get the belt out. So this is a clamp that I made out of metal or steel rod and fence clamp. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to open it up a bit and then stick some sandpaper in between the clamp and the pulley and then tighten it. The purpose for the sandpaper, as you will see, I'm starting to do that now, is to make sure that it doesn't slip when I start to compress that pulley. Okay, now as I said previously about these CVT transmissions, they are very expensive. Not that they are very hard to repair or rebuild, but only that the manufacturers are not making the parts easy to get in the aftermarket. This is so that uh, they can control the price. It's that simple. They should make parts available so people can have a choice to have them fixed. But if you buy the aftermarket, if you want, but if you have this type of vehicle with a CVT in it, then more often than not, I see more people going to the dealerships getting them fixed. But for those of us who are crazy enough to get inside this transmission, as I have to say, then you will learn something. Um, if your children, if you're getting a vehicle for your children, the best thing to do, as I mentioned previously, is to take the VIN number down of that vehicle to see if it has a CVT in there. If it has a CVT in it, then you know pretty much what you will be dealing with. If you're either going to the dealer, you're going to spend a lot of money, or you're going to go far away to try to find something, because most of them are rare because everybody is chasing after good used parts for this type of transmission. Um, so check the vehicle listing, see what car has it in there, and my suggestion to you is to avoid it until the aftermarket gets the parts, or until the manufacturers release the parts. Now, in tightening this, you're not supposed to tighten it too hard, too much where you would crush that variator. You want to be snug when you tighten it, just so that when you start to screw that clamp press down, the clamp part doesn't slip off. What you do when you're screwing it down, you're actually pulling part of that pulley up to spread it so that you can get the belt out. And you'll see that in a minute. That's the part that I'm turning right there. Okay, you can see the sandpaper that's in between. Okay, pick it up and pull it out. Slip the belt out. Okay, now I'm going to lay this over. I'm going to show you what I was doing with this pulley. As I start to loosen that clamp, you see that it starts to go down. The reason you need that clamp because there is a strong spring that keeps it down, and you can't pry it up yourself. Very hard to do that without that clamp. Then after you release that variator down, then you just take the clamp off and then put it to the side. Now, what I want to say is, with these vehicles today, normally consumers just find a car and say, "Oh, I like the way this car looks," and the only thing you think about is turning the key and driving wherever you want to go. Well, it's not good to do that this day and time because the engineers are making things, and a lot of people who are getting in vehicles and they don't know what's in the vehicle. For instance, in some vehicles, and I'll uh, put this in so you'll know. Some of you probably already found out that some of your dipstick tubes are not there. So I've had some people come to the shop and say, we cannot check our transmission fluid. We don't know where it is. Well, you can't because the manufacturers took the dipstick tube out. So now you can't check your own transmission fluid. You have to come to them or to a shop to have it checked. Okay? And I've had some people who put the transmission fluid inside of the engine oil. So you check the engine oil and the fluid is way up the tube and their engine is smoking because they have too much engine oil or transmission fluid inside the engine oil. And that's not good because if you put too much fluid inside the engine oil, it can destroy the engine. So now here's the belt, and you can see those tie straps around that belt that was holding those links in place so they didn't fall out. Those little links now, if they fall out, you probably are going to have to just get another belt. Alright, now we have the drive pulley, or the primary variator. Now you can check the bearings by twisting them as I am right now. Make sure there is no roughness in there. Now on the side where the flange is, which is that 3 fingers flange, you have to get the proper socket because you got to take that nut off. Okay, now once you take that nut off, then we're going to go to the next step, which will be in part 3, and that is trying to completely disassemble this variator.